What if I told you that just a few carefully chosen words could make a woman think about you long after you've left the room? No flashy lines, no over-the-top compliments, just simple phrases spoken with intention and timing. Today, we're diving into 5 forbidden nicknames that tap directly into a woman's emotional core. These aren't cheesy pet names or generic flattery, they're psychological tools designed to create powerful emotional imprints. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use these nicknames to spark curiosity, build inside jokes, and reinforce attraction, all while standing out as the man who truly gets her. Stay with me, because once you understand the art of emotionally intelligent language, your connections will never feel ordinary again. Let's get started. Forbidden's nickname. #1. Trouble in the dance of attraction. It's often the lightest phrases that carry the deepest emotional weight, and few words do this more subtly than trouble. On the surface, it's playful and harmless. But when delivered with the right tone, timing, and intention, it becomes a quiet but powerful shift in the emotional tone between two people. When a man looks a woman in the eyes and says with a smirk, "You're trouble," he's not just teasing, he's inviting her into a moment of playful polarity. This phrase reframes her identity. She's no longer just attractive or interesting. She's a charming disruption. She's someone who challenges your composure, bends the rules of your emotional routine, and makes you feel something unpredictable. The brilliance of trouble lies in its humor and subtlety. Instead of saying, "You're beautiful" or "You're sexy," phrases she's likely heard and dismissed calling her trouble, creates a unique emotional imprint. It's an inside joke shared only between the two of you in that moment. And it positions her not as an object of desire, but as a source of emotional mischief. Attraction isn't built solely on compliments or chemistry. It's built on the feeling someone experiences in your presence. A woman who feels playful, slightly rebellious, and emotionally alive around you will crave that feeling again. Calling her trouble evokes all of that. It turns the interaction from logical to emotional, from routine to memorable. There's also a deeper psychological layer at play. When a man calmly and confidently uses a phrase like, "You're trouble," he reveals vulnerability wrapped in control. He's admitting she affects him, but not in a way that destabilizes him. This creates a soft power dynamic. She feels empowered because she sees her effect on him, but she also feels safe because he's not overreacting or losing his frame. Use this phrase sparingly. When tied to a real moment, a bold remark, a flash in her eyes, or an unexpected action, it becomes more than a label. It becomes a mirror reflecting back the parts of herself that are bold, daring, playful, and deeply feminine. That one word can replay in her mind later, carrying with it the memory of how alive she felt in your presence. Calling her trouble isn't about control or manipulation, it's a moment of emotional honesty disguised as humor. And women respond deeply to moments like that. Because in a world of surface-level flattery and forced intensity, this phrase stands out. It's light but magnetic, simple but layered, playful but meaningful. Forbidden's nickname number 2. Heartbreaker. There is a reason calling a woman heartbreaker creates such a powerful emotional effect when done right. On the surface, it's a compliment. It acknowledges her beauty, charm, and quiet power. But beneath the surface, it's something more layered. It's a playful recognition of her allure, delivered not with worship or weakness, but with calm detachment. When a man says, "Heartbreaker," with a relaxed tone and a knowing smile, he's saying, "I see your effect. I'm aware of your presence, but I'm not here to chase it." That balance of admiration without emotional dependence is rare. Most men either overpraise or protect themselves behind coldness. But this response is neither. It honors her while keeping his own frame intact. That's what makes it land. Heartbreaker hints at the pattern. It teases the possibility that she's left a trail of men trying to win her approval. And yet, in the same breath, it subtly implies you won't be one of them. That paradox draws her in. This phrase works not because it flatters her, but because it flips the script. You're not trying to impress her, you're recognizing the game and still choosing to stand your ground. You acknowledge her beauty, but don't hand over your emotional power. That's what creates playful tension. When delivered with calm energy, not sarcasm, not fear, it creates emotional contrast. She feels admired but not idolized. She senses your awareness of her charm but also your independence from it. And that's rare. That signals emotional intelligence. At its best, Heartbreaker becomes a soft mirror. It lets her see how you perceive her without judgment. And that mirror carries weight, especially if she's used to shallow compliments. Suddenly, you're not just another man competing for her approval, you're someone she's curious about. Someone she can't quite figure out. That curiosity is powerful. It makes her wonder why you don't seem fazed, why you notice the pattern without falling into it. And that's where interest begins, not because you tried harder, but because you stayed grounded. Forbidden's nickname number 3, my favorite headache sometimes. The most powerful forms of connection are hidden in contradiction. My favorite headache is one of those rare phrases that disarms and engages at the same time. It doesn't just say, you annoy me or you matter. It says both. And that emotional contradiction pulls her closer, not away. When a man uses this phrase during a teasing exchange or playful argument, he's doing more than joking. He's acknowledging that she gets under his skin in a very particular way, one that he wouldn't trade. The word headache creates tension. It says she's frustrating, maybe even unpredictable, but favorite softens that tension instantly. It turns irritation into affection, challenge into intimacy. Women respond to this kind of emotional push-pull dynamic because it mirrors how attraction actually works. Love isn't born out of constant smoothness, it's born from friction handled with play. A phrase like this teases her while validating her. It tells her she has impact enough to disrupt your inner peace, but that impact is welcome. That makes her feel emotionally significant without making her feel responsible for your reactions. Deeper than that, this kind of phrasing activates what psychologists call the intermittent reward loop. When you mix positive and challenging emotions, when she never fully knows whether she's frustrating you or charming you, you create emotional texture. That texture is addictive in the best way. It keeps her curious. It keeps her invested. Delivery matters. This isn't a phrase to be tossed out in serious arguments or when emotions are raw. It belongs in playful moments when she's testing your patience, sparring verbally, or pushing buttons just to see your reaction. That's when it lands best because she knows it's not just about her being annoying. It's about her being your kind of annoying. That ownership matters. My favorite headache tells her she's in a category of 1. It's not just that she's difficult, it's that she's difficult in a way you find irresistible. And that balance of honesty and warmth is rare. Most men either suppress their reactions or overreact. Very few know how to acknowledge emotional disruption while still making it feel safe and wanted. When you master this energy, calm but not indifferent, teasing but not cruel, you shift the way she sees you. You become the man who can hold complexity without crumbling, the one who can be annoyed and affectionate at the same time. And that emotional maturity creates not just attraction but trust. Forbidden's nickname number 4, wild card. When you look at a woman and say with a half smile, "You're such a wild card," you're doing something far more impactful than teasing. You're defining a moment. You're naming an energy she brings into your world, something unpredictable, exciting, and alive. You're not praising her appearance or offering a tired compliment. You're identifying something emotional and rare, the feeling of being caught off guard in a way you secretly enjoy. This label lands because it touches something beneath the surface. It tells her that she stands out not just for what she looks like, but for how she disrupts the ordinary. It says, "There's something about you I didn't expect, and I like that I can't fully predict you." For many women, being recognized for their depth, not just their beauty, is a signal they don't often receive. And once they do, they crave more of that energy. When you call her a wild card, you plant an idea that sticks. It becomes a kind of emotional mirror. She starts to ask herself, what makes me that way? And almost without realizing it, she begins leaning into that role. That's the subtle psychology at work here. Identity reinforcement. Give someone a title they find flattering, and they'll often live up to it. This phrase doesn't just flatter her, it gives her a new emotional identity. It's playful, yes, but also precise. It paints her as clever, bold, and impossible to box in. You're not labeling her to control or contain her, you're recognizing the very thing that makes her unpredictable and letting her know you like it. That recognition becomes part of your shared language, a private moment charged with meaning that other men wouldn't understand because they're too busy playing. It's safer trying to impress. The effect is subtle but powerful. She feels more alive when she's around you because you're not trying to figure her out, you're enjoying her mystery. That difference is magnetic. You become the man who doesn't need to control or analyze her because you trust. yourself enough to enjoy what she brings without needing it to be tamed. Timing and tone are everything. Use this line in moments where her boldness surprises you. Maybe it's something she says that's a little offbeat, a witty comeback you didn't expect, or the way she challenges you with a look instead of words. That's when you lean in slightly, give her a knowing smile, and say, "You're such a wild card. I never know what I'm going to get with you." What you're really doing is rewarding the emotional spontaneity most women are afraid to fully express. You're telling her it's not just okay to be unpredictable, it's irresistible. And once she feels that, the dynamic shifts. She starts bringing more of that edge into the space between you, not for validation but because you created a frame where it's safe and exciting to do so. That's the beauty of one simple phrase used well. It builds emotional identity, sparks inner curiosity, and creates a feeling she wants to revisit. When a woman hears wild card from a man who says it with calm confidence and honest intrigue, she doesn't forget it, not because it's clever but because in that moment, she feels like more than just another woman. She feels like a mystery worth returning to. Forbidden's nickname number 5, Muse. There are compliments. And then there are emotional imprints. Most men offer the first, praising her looks, her style, her smile. But those compliments, though nice in the moment, often fade into the background of her memory. Why? Because they're common, expected, and sometimes even transactional. But when you call a woman your muse, you do something different. You shift the entire dynamic. You turn her from someone who is simply admired into someone who matters. You offer her something most women deeply crave but rarely receive from a man with presence. Emotional impact. A muse is not just a woman you like. She's someone who inspires you, who stirs your thoughts, colors your perspective, and makes your inner world more alive. When you say to her, "You're kind of my muse," what she hears beneath the words is, "You affect me in a way that no one else does." It's not about obsession or neediness, it's about acknowledgement. She's not just attractive. She's influential. And that is a kind of praise that reaches far deeper than surface-level charm. In that one phrase, you're placing her in a role that elevates both of you. You're not reducing her to appearance or role, you're placing her at the emotional center of your inspiration. Whether that means she brings clarity to your thinking, fuels your creativity, or simply adds meaning to moments that used to feel dull, you're saying, "You change me." That lands. That sticks. For many women, emotional purpose is more powerful than physical desire. She wants to feel that her presence in your life matters, that she's not just someone you pursue but someone whose impact lingers. Calling her your muse taps into that craving. It tells her she's unforgettable, not because of how she looks but because of how she makes you feel. Bonus stoic tip for lasting impact: remember, the key to making any of these nicknames work is staying grounded. Don't force them or use them as tactics. Let them flow naturally from genuine moments. When you combine authenticity with emotional intelligence, you create connections that last. Final thoughts and takeaway. These 5 nicknames: trouble, heartbreaker, my favorite, headache, wild card, and muse aren't just words. They're tools to help you speak directly to a woman's emotional core. Use them wisely and watch how they transform your interactions. Because when you make her feel seen, valued, and intrigued, you become unforgettable. So, which nickname resonates with you the most? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.